Hi, welcome to the Harvest Table. Tonight we're going to be talking from Hebrews chapter 11, and we just finished honoring, remembering Memorial Day, those who have passed on and sacrificed their life, which is the greatest sacrifice to have freedom in our country, and we definitely honor and remember all of those who have done so. And as I was thinking about Memorial Day, I thought about how that we honor them, but I thought about also in the Bible there's a hall of heroes as well, and those heroes are listed in Hebrews chapter 11. It's a very familiar chapter. A lot of people refer to it as the Heroes Hall of Fame. And in that, you're going to find 16 names of people who were heroes of the faith. And for many various reasons and in various ways, their life is a testament of faith. And I would encourage you to read that whole chapter and to look at all the names and study them. But for tonight, we're just going to read verse 4, 11:4. By faith, Abel offered to God a better sacrifice than Cain did. By faith, he was approved as a righteous man, because God approves his gifts, and even though he is dead, he still speaks through his faith. Even though he is dead, he still speaks through his faith. And that's one of the key thoughts I wanted to leave with us tonight. Our faith still speaks even after our death. You know, when we die, our testimony doesn't die with us. Our testimony lives on. And what a great testimony these individuals had that are listed in Hebrews chapter 11. I'm going to read some of the names to you. Abel, Enoch, Noah, Abraham, Sarah, Isaac, Jacob, Joseph, Moses, Rahab, Gideon, Barak, Samson, Jephthah, David, and Samuel are 16 of those that are listed. And I thought about this list and I thought, wow, one person that really stood out to me who was not on this list was Nathan. And Nathan was chosen to speak the truth to King David about sin. And talk about a thankless job. There are times when speaking the truth brings nothing but hate. It don't get you into anybody's Hall of Fame. It is then that we must remind ourselves who we are serving. We are focused on pleasing God and not man. And so I wanted to share a couple thoughts with you from this chapter, and one of those thoughts being, of course, about our testimony still speaks even though we pass on. And then another one was these people all were remembered for different things in different ways, and they had they have an opportunity through their testimony to impact our life in many ways, don't they? They offer us encouragement. They can help our faith grow and help us to remain steadfast in our faith when we read about their witness. For instance, Noah. Do you ever think about it was a 120-year gap between the time God told him to build the ark and then when the flood came? 120 years went by. And sometimes we think, wow, it's taken a long time, God. I'm barely holding on here. Well, you probably haven't held on for 120 years, have you? Well, for Sarah, it was 25 years from the promise to the birth of her baby. 25 long years. And if you heard the video I did talking about Sarah and Abraham, you know they learned some tough lessons. A lot of their faith growing was through trial and error. They learned to endure, and they learned through trials. And sometimes we have to learn through trials too. We don't always have an easy path, and we don't always have instant gratification either. Sometimes we have to wait many years for the promise. But the promises of God, the Bible tells us, are yea and amen. If God has promised, he will perform. And that is why this chapter exists, to let us know our faith has value. our faith has great reward. Do not lose your faith. When you think about your testimony and how that you can affect people, I want you to ask yourself a question. What can you do to leave behind a great testimony for someone? And sometimes if we're not careful, our thoughts will go to we have to do something big, something life changing, something major, something that would be front page news, so to speak. But that's not true at all. We don't have to do big things according to the world standards. Sometimes even what we consider the smallest thing is huge in the eyes of someone else. And I don't often share things I do because I don't like to bring attention to it. But I do want to share it when it can be a blessing and encourage someone. And I want to tell you what happened to me yesterday. At least once a month, and usually twice a month, I try to take my dog Angel out to the nursing home. Of course, to see David, I take her, but at least twice a month, I try to take her and spend a couple hours sharing with other residents and letting them have time to hold her and just feel how wonderfully soft she is and how much love she has to give, and they give her love back, and they just enjoy holding her. It's a blessing to them, and it's a blessing to me to see the smiles on their face. And sometimes, and yesterday was no exception, there's tears in the eyes of a lot of those patients. And a lot of those people out at the nursing home have absolutely no one to come visit, no one to check on them. So it's a big deal when they see me and I stop and visit with them and let them hold Angel. It's a big deal to them. So yesterday, there was quite a few new faces. It must be new patients. I had not seen them before. I know for sure a couple of them's new on David's hallway, but some of the others I hadn't seen before either was sitting in the lobby, and so they took turns holding Angel, and I would just talk to them and tell them little things about Angel. And I had spent time doing that, and as I was leaving, one of the gentlemen, he was one of the new residents. I mean, he's a huge guy, and not very old either. I'd say 40s, mid-40s maybe. And to look at him, he looked in pretty good condition, and I don't know why he was there, but obviously there's a need. He was there. He is there. And so when he wasn't in the group that I had spent time with and letting them hold Angel, but he made a comment about her as I was walking out. And I said, I went over to him and I said, would you like to hold her for a minute? And he said, oh, yes. His face just lit up. And I gave Angel to him, and he just held her and talked to her like she was a little baby, which is how I treat her too most of the time. But you could just see on his face he loved it. And when I could tell he was getting tired and weak and had enough, I said, I'll take her now if you're done. He said, sure. And he said, he had tears in his eyes. He looked up at me and he said, you have no idea how much it means to be able to pet a dog again. That just blessed me so greatly, because he's right. I can't imagine how much that would mean to someone that has no contact like that, no visitors. I thought about the residents there. They really don't even have human touch. They don't have people to hug them, and I mean the nurses care for them in the medical sense, but they don't have time to stop and give hugs and do this and do that. That's more of a personal attention. They have a job to do, and they have to keep moving all the time. They're very short staffed, and so they keep moving and they keep taking care of what they're supposed to take care of, and that's wonderful. They do a good job. But for the extras, the residents really don't get it. And I thought about that, and I was really moved by that. And so I told him, I said, it's a joy, and I told him what days I usually bring Angel in of the month, and I said, if you're here and you want to see her, I'll be more than happy to let you see her again. And his face just lit up, and so I picked Angel up and was going to the car, and I heard this frantic knocking on a window as I was walking to the car, and I thought, what in the world? It really got my attention because it was really loud, so I looked back, and there was this lady in a window, knocking and frantically motioning for me to bring Angel in there and let her see her. So I thought, I didn't see her sitting there. She must have just came out in the lobby. So yeah, I'll take her back in and let her see Angel. So I went in and I was looking for the window and I couldn't find the window. I said, I don't know where that came from. And then it dawned on me, it was on another hallway behind a locked door. That's the Alzheimer's unit, and I have never been back there, and you're not allowed to just go back there. You have to get permission, and it's a locked area because of safety of the residents. So I asked the nurse that knows me, I said, could I take Angel back there? There's someone back there that really wants to see her. And she said, sure. So I went in, and by the time I figured it out, several minutes had went by. So the lady had calmed down a little bit. When I went in, I saw her, and she was sitting there with two people who I found out is her brother and his wife was there to visit. And the sister-in-law told me, she said, oh, I'm so glad you brought the dog in. She has had just such an awful day. She has been so upset, but when she saw that dog, she stopped being mean and just calmed right down and sure wanted to see that dog. And so I said, well, that's so great. I'm so glad I realized that's what she wanted. And so here, you can hold her, I told the lady. And she was a little bit scared too. And I said, oh, it's fine. She's very gentle and she loves attention, so you can hold her. And so I helped hold Angel too and gave her to the lady. And oh my goodness, if you could have just seen the expression on her face. It was a little bit of a heavenly moment for her and me. And I just thank God for that so much, for that opportunity. And if I hadn't have turned back to see what was going on and made that effort to go find that lady behind the window, we would have both missed that heaven moment. And I'm so glad that that happened. And it just goes to show you don't have to do big things. Just take time to care for people. You can truly make a difference. And it'll be a testimony that people remember even after you're gone. You know, that lady, they don't know my name. I didn't get theirs because that didn't matter. I just wanted her to have the joy of seeing Angel, and she did. And that's all that's necessary. And of course, I don't take many pictures there because of privacy laws and so forth. You got to be very careful. So I don't really take a lot of pictures. Usually it's just with David for Angel. But the residents are so happy when Angel comes. And that's just one small thing that I can do. And there's things that you can do that I probably will never be in the right place to do. And God knows where to place you at the right time to be a blessing. So ask Him to open up opportunities for you to be a blessing and be a hero to someone. You don't have to go across the sea to be a hero. You don't have to go 500 miles away. Right where you are in your neighborhood, right where you go on your daily routine. You know, going there to a nursing home is part of my almost daily life because I spend time with David. So that opportunity is just right there for God to let me be able to be a blessing to others, and I'm so thankful for it. So ask God, what can I do, Lord? I don't care about worldly fame, but I want to be on your list of heroes. I want to be pleasing to you, Lord. And if you ask Him, I guarantee you He'll show you a way to be a blessing. And that blessing is going to live long after you're gone because it touches people in ways that you can't imagine. Just like Abel, his voice still speaks all these thousands of years later. We still have his testimony, don't we? Someday, somebody will remember you for something you may have long forgotten, but they haven't, and neither has the Lord. When we get to heaven, there's going to be rewards, and there's going to be crowns given, and I think a lot of us are going to be very shocked to find what God noticed that we had forgot we have even done. You know, I don't keep a track of things I do, and most of the time I just think, oh, that's nothing. I'm happy to do it. And it's true, I am. But you know, we never know what might seem small to us is major to God. We have to learn to follow God. We have to learn to love people and take advantage of every opportunity that comes our way to be a blessing and leave that testimony. Have a great evening. God bless you.